Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
There are many places you are observing. I'm Kwasi. Good morning.
Well, yesterday morning, many things happened in this country. And one of those things was to encounter a young man who actually thought that the primaries were not exciting. It was not generating sufficient excitement and so on. But that young man was wrong. Because yesterday, I also read the newspapers. And my goodness, what I saw was an indication of desperation. One of these people contesting to be elected as a candidate, parliamentary candidate for the New Patriotic Party, was featured in a number of newspapers, but on the front page of a particular newspaper. He was kneeling down and you could see desperation written all over him. He was kneeling, and there were about 10 priests who had laid their hands on him, praying for him to be elected. I mean, that told a whole story. One priest was not enough. 2 could not be enough. He had 10 priests inviting the Holy Ghost to lead him to the gates of Parliament. Unbelievable. Now, for me, that demonstrates the level of superstition in our politics. And it worries me. We are electing people to leadership positions who have no confidence in themselves, who have no vision, who do not think, who do not believe that thinking and planning is a way to resolve the problems of this country. That's a huge statement. We are electing people to public office, some of whom believe that to be in public office, all you have to do to get into public office is to bury a white cow alive. To get some demented, self-professed, self-confessed pastor to pray for you. And this is a huge problem. Superstition is at the very heart of our politics. Presidential candidates moving from one God-forsaken church to the other for prayers. Sometimes it's not just about the churches in Ghana. They actually spent scarce foreign exchange to go to foreign lands for priests to pray for them so that they can occupy public office. I mean, superstition. No country in the world has developed on the basis of superstition. So, you can be sure that the next 4 years may not be different from the many other sets of 4 years we have experienced. Because of the influence, the superstition. You understand? And yesterday, after reading those newspapers and so on, I was so downhearted. Completely downhearted. I mean, check all these so-called developed countries and so on. Countries which are making huge strides in economy and so on. Where would you see those seeking public office kneeling down for 10 priests to pray for them? It's amazing. So is it any wonder when they are elected and we have problems with our electricity that they can actually hire priests to go to the Akosombo Dam and pray so that it will rain to fill it? Is it any doubt? Is it any doubt? Why should you worry when the city is falling And they invite priests to pray so that the city will rise again, rise again. Unbelievable. But let's put the issue of superstition aside for a moment. You know, this primaries also is teaching us huge lessons about patronage, about the influence of money and so on. And I'm sure all of you saw pictures of some guy who had bought flat screen television sets. And there were many of them packed with his photograph on them. Obviously going to distribute to delegates. Flat screen television sets. So if you just imagine that even in that constituency, just imagine that the delegates in that constituency will not be more than 100. That's 100 flat screen television sets. And this morning my brother was telling me about the salary of members of parliament. Salary. So let's just limit ourselves to salary. Forget all the other things as well. How much is the salary of a member of parliament? So if they're going to this extent to be elected as members of parliament, how are they going to approve bills and so on, foreign contracts and so on, and not take anything? Because to stay in that place, they need more flat screen television sets. Then yesterday morning, again, and yesterday I learned a lot of things. On Peace FM, a spokesperson for the New Patriotic Party made a very interesting statement. He said, look, the delegates, they shouldn't worry about the cost of their transportation. It's all paid for, catered for, and so on. Now, delegates who are going to elect parliamentary candidates, delegates, and that is the top echelon of the party in the constituency. Okay? Now, the party is assuring them that they don't even have to pay for their transport to the polling stations and so on. Do you get the problem? Where does the party get its funds? If delegates are not allowed or are not expected to pay for their transportation to the polling stations. Theoretically, parties are run on the basis of funds that members contribute or generate. Now this country has gotten to the extent that the food, when people are going to engage in party activity, the food they eat, the water they drink, their transportation, everything is paid for by the party. And these parties, they don't have any businesses. Have you heard of any of our parties running any viable business and so on? Nothing. So where does that money come from? Where does that money come from? Obviously, that money is coming from contractors who are hoping to reap big if the party comes to power. Obviously, that money is coming from public office holders or holders whose income is not sufficient to cater for their needs and the needs of their families. So if you see this and you keep quiet, how can you then complain about corruption? How can you then complain about corruption? And this guy was speaking on radio, trying to show that the party is doing something to prevent a situation where candidates have to pay for the transportation. where is the party getting those millions from in order to pay for the transportation of those who are expected, to vote? And for me, that was exceedingly worrying. Master, we have now come to the point where party members no longer pay dues. In some of the political parties, no dues is paid. In fact, party membership card, if you want a party membership card, somebody will pay for your membership card. Contestants in primaries such as this one and so on buy party cards in bulk and distribute to persons who claim to be members and so on. It must be exceedingly worrying. Now, so we've come to the point where loyalty to parties and so on, it doesn't exist. I've told this story repeatedly of a candidate in one of the elections, parliamentary candidate in one of the elections, and after the results were declared, his own agents at the polling station started jubilating when his rival had won. And interestingly, what he saw was that his own polling agents were wearing 3 different t-shirts of 3 different political parties. So his political party t-shirt was on top. When he lost, they just removed it. And his rival's party t-shirt was under. There's no loyalty to the political parties. So when you hear people talking about preserving the democratic order and so on, what democratic order are they preserving? Preserving. Why is the democracy in this charade? Unbelievable. There's no democracy in this charade. Now, this is the NPP primaries which is taking place today. And there is something very, very significant. The primaries are taking place at a time when the so-called stronghold of the ruling party is in serious turmoil. The original boss of the party cannot be found. Again, yesterday morning, many things happened. I saw pictures of the Ashanti regional chairman of the party supposedly lying in a hospital bed. Of course, the bed looked like a hospital bed. But whether the bed was in a hospital or not is another matter, I don't know. But it certainly looked like a hospital bed. And he was lying there, I think, in jeans and shirt and so on. And I looked at the picture and looked at it again. And I said, truly, if this man is sick, then what must be afflicting him must be some very serious disease. As you know, this man, I've been very loud, boisterous and so on. And he was hiding in this hospital bed like a rat which had fallen into water. Hey, what is worrying this man? What kind of disease? One newspaper reported that he has a combination of malaria and typhoid. It must be some very strong malaria and very strong typhoid. What? But this is important. You understand? And this teaches very important lessons about when and how to open our mouths and when and how not to open our mouths. And what pours out of our mouth. We must understand that this mouth sometimes has instigated civil wars in many countries. It has caused a lot of problems. But in this country, some of the politicians just talk anyhow. When they open their mouth, hey, foul, you have to dodge. Their mouths are more than guns. You understand? And I think it's important that we learn important lessons from what is happening to to this boisterous chairperson of the Ashanti region, of the New Patriotic Party in the Ashanti region. Now, seeing many things happen since the crisis began, one of the things I saw was actually a video. I suspect that some of you have seen that video, in which the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party makes a profound statement, unbelievable statement. The General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party actually says that if he has a choice between Asante Mai and the New Patriotic Party, he will choose Asante Mai. Huge statement. I won't comment on it. No, so I'm serious. The General Secretary of the governing party in a Republican state says that his first loyalty is to Asante Mai. Think about it. So, if you're a member of the New Patriotic Party who elected this General Secretary, who continues to work for this party and so on, and you happen to come from Sogakope, think about it. If you're a member of the New Patriotic Party and you come from Gomwa Abura and you listen to your General Secretary, hey, you have a lot of food for thought. His first loyalty is to Asante Mai. Very interesting statement. Now, one of the things that I've also heard, actually read, is a statement from the New Patriotic Party asking all of its members, all of the members, not to talk about developments in Ashanti. This is a democratic state. I can understand the party issuing a statement saying that, look, in discussing what is happening in Ashanti and so on, people should be decorous. Yes, decorum is required in all discussions. But to say you are not allowed to talk about it. Now, if the party can ban its own members from speaking about a burning national issue, what about those of us who are not members of the party? What about those of us who are not members of the party? So that's another food for thought, you understand? There are so many things. And first of all, let me react to what my brother Sohini said about the experience that we are likely to lose in Parliament. And I've heard many people speak about it. You are not the only one. Yeah. And I asked myself, what experience? What experience? What experience? Experience which has led to a situation where all budget presented by government is approved. Is that the experience we require in Parliament? Experience, you have a situation where a majority of members of Parliament belonging to the ruling party come to the conclusion that the finance minister has failed and must be thrown out. The so-called minority in Parliament agrees with them. And yet when the vote is cast, those who want the minister out, they lose. Is that the experience we require in Parliament? What kind of experience be that? This is the experience. The experience in which we've gone to an election. One independent candidate. 37. And yet there's a majority and there's a minority. Is that the experience we require? As for that experience, we don't need it anywhere. Throw that experience away and let's have inexperienced people. They probably will do better than the experienced people and so on. But that leads us straight away into another situation. A lot of people have decided that as for this Parliament, they are not going back there again. they won't go back. Even if you push them, they won't go back. And they are the top people, top people. They don't want to go back. What have they seen? Some say that, oh, these are good politicians. They don't want to be Methuselahs in parliament. They want to give the chance to the youth. And so, nah, lie. You remember that one of those who is running away from the contest went to his constituency, and his constituents stoned him and hooted at him and drove him out of the constituency. If I had to be escorted out of the constituency by policemen, if it were you, will you go again? Well, they should stop that kind of talk. Master, they know what they have seen and what is making it difficult for them to decide to go back. They know. Some of them don't want to see the humiliation that is coming. Some of them know. I mean, and don't forget it, there are a number of people who actually go to parliament not because they love parliament and they like making laws and so on. That's not why they go to parliament. They go to parliament as the first step to becoming minister. You understand? And in fact, you would think that all ministers are the same. It's not true. The people who struggle for ministers, there are some ministries that they like. There are some ministries, if you take them themselves, they won't go. If you beg themselves, they don't go.
Or they will go and hate you forever.
There are ministries that they love. Roads and highways, hey, good ministry. That place is very nice. You understand? Finance ministry, very, very good ministry. If you get it, oh, master, you will laugh all the time. And so on. So these people, they go to parliament as a first step towards becoming ministers. Now, my brother, if you have been reading the polls conducted by
Global Info Analytics,
and you are an NPP man, and your ambition is to become minister, not parliamentarian, would you go and spend money on primaries? Would you go and spend your money on primaries? They wrong, master. They wrong. They wrong. The future doesn't look promising at all. They put foot. You heard that term before. Put foot. They put foot. So that may also be one of the calculations. You understand? And then there are those who also go to parliament, in spite of the complaint that the remuneration is bad and so on. They go to parliament 4 years. They are going to sit it out. They may suffer and so on. But at the end of the tunnel, there's something very nice, beautiful. It is called ex gratia. They are timing it. And they see that the whole population is not happy with ex gratia. The population is complaining and so on. I hear that even somewhere, some court of appeal has ruled that ex gratia is not correct. And so, if your target is ex gratia, and ex gratia is being attacked the way it's being attacked, would you go there? So there are a number of reasons why, Then we are told also that at least in 6 constituencies, is it 6? You would know better. The party, injunctions have been placed on the party. 6 constituencies. Yeah. So the elections cannot run in those 6 constituencies. That tells you something. But you cannot also forget the Kennedy Akompre a Japan factor in these elections. You cannot forget it. It's an important part of the calculations. Is it Baltimore somewhere where he has put up a candidate against somebody who he alleges demeaned him, insulted him? He wants to show him something. Okay? So there are those constituencies, and there are not many though, but the few that we know, where he is hell-bent on teaching the incumbent MPs some good lesson, putting pepper in their nose. We are all waiting for with bated breath to see what is likely to come out of those elections. Because the outcome of those elections will show whether indeed he has become a powerful bloc, a powerful machine within the New Patriotic Party or not. So that is something also, to look out for. But Basa, the mother of all developments in this primaries. Hey, Sohini. Hi! Kai! The mother of all developments in this primaries happened in Akuapem South. If you grew up in the areas that I grew up in, when we get very excited, say socket. Socket. The mother of all development, Akuapem South. Have you followed it? Master, have you followed it?
No.
You haven't. Obi Amwa's constituency, you didn't follow it.
Quite interesting.
Very exciting, very revealing.
I think he alluded to it.
My brother, in the beginning, if you read the Bible, it says, in the beginning was the word.
Was the word.
And the word was
God. The word was
in the beginning. There were rumors that Honorable Obi Amwa did not intend to contest. Okay, he did not intend to contest. And that he had a preferred candidate for that constituency. The municipal chief of that constituency also wanted to contest. And he was so very popular that there were fears that he would replace Obi Amwa and not his surrogate as the candidate for the constituency. So Obi Amwa says no, he will contest the elections. He actually goes to pick up forms and so on. And then 6 days to the elections, he withdraws. And everybody is wondering what happened. I just happened to read the rules, governing primaries. And it's very interesting. The rule says that if there's a sitting MP, any municipal or district chief executive seeking to contest him ought to resign first. Okay. Now, this municipal chief executive who wanted to contest assumed that Obi Amwa was not going to contest, so he didn't resign. So when they went to vet him, he was disqualified on account of the fact that he had not resigned. Okay. 6 days to the election, Obi Amwa pulls out. It's too late to organize another vetting. It is assumed. The man cannot resign. He pulls out. So he has taken himself out and knocked out the municipal chief executive at the same time.
His favorite.
Classic!
Politics is interesting.
Who told you that politics is always about policy and vision and so on? Sometimes it is about mafioso tactics. God damn it. This is a master stroke. If I was teaching in the classroom and I said, hey, clap one round of clapping for Obi Amwa. Classic move. God damn it. Ha!
It's interesting.
CPP, PNC, NDC, and so on. Sit well. Sit well. Because these brains exist in the New Patriotic Party. So this election is not about people choosing between parties and so on. It's also about tactics. Tactics.
Why has he been at the local government all this?
Yeah. Tactics. Tactics they inside. He knocked the man out. But there's something very interesting. When the man was presenting that's the municipal chief executive, when he was presenting his papers for vetting, he actually wrote a letter. And that man, he must be something. He saw something. He wrote a letter and said he knows that he has to resign, before the contest. He hasn't resigned, and therefore there's a problem. But just in case the incumbent MP decides not to go, then he's entitled to contest.
Yeah.
That is why they suspended the primary in that constituency.
Yeah.
Because he has petitioned.
Yeah.
So they have to review that. You understand? But it's a huge statement. Really huge statement. Now, I'm looking at some constituencies. Some constituencies are very, very important constituencies. And one of them is the constituency of somebody like Eugene. No, not Ahin.
Eugene Owusu.
Eugene Owusu,
Yeah. Sorry.
who was Deputy Minister for Works and Housing. And is one of the most outspoken members of Parliament of the New Patriotic Party. He is so outspoken. He tries desperately to speak the truth all the time. Was one of the key mobilizers against the finance minister. And we heard, and I'm sure all of you heard, that he had become a target.
Yes.
That some people in the party want to teach him a lesson, so that next time he won't speak the truth by heart. When he sees the truth, he will run away from it. They want to turn him into an example. You understand? They want to turn him into an example and so on. But that guy is formidable, from what I know. So we are all waiting to see whether Eugene Owusu will be elected. And if he's elected, it will send out a huge statement. Not just about the state of the party, you know, and so on, but a huge statement about the integrity of the party system, especially in his constituency. You understand? It will send out a message as to whether or not a few individuals in the party control everything in the party. And that if you don't support them, you will smell pepper. So I'm waiting to hear the results of Eugene Owusu. How much is he going to score and so on. This primaries has generated some heat and excitement. But you see, there are some things that we cannot forget. We have to remember. One of them. In the 2016 elections, the NPP claimed, and I'm using claim advisedly, that former President John Dramani Mahama was beaten by a whooping 1 million votes. That it is unprecedented and so on. They made all those claims. Whether it's true or not is not the issue. In the next election, 2020, that margin was broken into two. And it doesn't matter whether you accept the results or not. The official results which was finally accepted, so that NPP lost that lead by 500,000 votes. That's a statement. Now, in addition to that, their majority in parliament dwindled to the extent that they had to do all kinds of things, according to Kennedy Japan, to get the independent candidate they rejected to sit with them in parliament so that they can become the majority. Now, this picture is a picture of a party in decline, massive decline. You understand what I'm saying? Massive decline. So, what does this primary mean for the decline? Will this primary contribute to reawakening that party? I'm not sure. I don't know. Will the results of these primaries worsen the plight of the party? I don't know. You understand? But these are the things that we have to look out for. I want to join my brother Suhini. I think that today his goodwill has grown beyond bounds. He's wishing everybody well. Suhini, I join you. Let's wish them well. The way you are wishing them well, let's all wish them well. But after the primaries, there are others they have to face. This is only a first step.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.
My never say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, ose dem yopo.